He'll be in red here in Heat 3, preparing himself. The British and Commonwealth champion suffered an engine failure in the Intercontinental finals, just did enough to qualify. The current British match race champion, golden helmet holder, in his fourth world final. So unlucky, we remember, in 1978 in the Golden Jubilee final at Wembley, with an engine failure first time out, cost him his chance of that crown that year. Peter Collins in the blue helmet colour in Heat 3. He is, in fact, the only rider in the field who previously has won the World Championship. This is the odd man out there. This was just going through the picture with Kai Niemi. It is Michael Lee. Heat 3, and if England are to have the 1980 World Champion, popular feeling is it could be decided here in Heat 3, because we have the three leading Englishmen, Dave Jessup, Peter Collins and Michael Lee, in Heat 3, and in just to spice the brew, we have Kai Niemi on the outside from Finland and the Eastbourne Eagles. It'll be Jessup on the inside, normally so quick away. He's in his fourth world final. Peter Collins is in grid number 2 in blue, and although he's only 26, the most experienced finalist in the field, this is his 7th world final. Grid number 3 has the rider in white, Michael Lee, tall, gawky and gritty from Kings Lynn, an East Anglian lad. He's in his 4th world final. He was 3rd last year, and indeed 4th back here in 1977. And on the outside in yellow and black, the striped helmet colour, is Kai Niemi from Finland in his 1st world final. So a very nervy moment for the English camp. Jessup, Collins and Lee all perfectly capable of winning it, but now they're all England teammates who will want to knock spots off each other here. The inside grids have been quickest on the first 2 heats, and Jessup has that lucky grid on the inside here in Heat 3. And it's a very, very tight start, and Jessup again made a picture start. Collins is going after him. Lee is in 3rd place, but Jessup taking advantage, and that inside grid really seems to be worth about 5 or 6 yards up to the first corner. He leads it. 2nd place, Peter Collins. 3rd place, Michael Lee. Well, Collins, of course, is well known as a fighter from the back, but the conditions out there just don't suit the outside runners. He likes to go around the outside, although he can move inside or outside, and Collins just picks a bit of grip up there, going past the pits on the 2nd lap. Still Jessup in front, looking calm and composed and in complete command, as now Collins really butters up onto his back wheel here under our commentary position. Lap 3. Michael Lee is making no impression at all, though he was terribly impressive in practice. It's still pretty tight out there. Collins, now will he try the outside run? There doesn't seem to be any dirt on the outside at all. And now Michael Lee has moved up onto Peter Collins' back wheel, and really nobody can afford to make one slip out there. Jessup looks as though he's bordering on rails. Collins in 2nd place. Michael Lee moving up hard now. He'll drive under him here on the bottom corner, and Lee has gone under Peter Collins, and that was bold. And they're all tightening up, and Jessup's going to win it. And Lee is 2nd, and Collins is 3rd. And my word, that one Mike Jessup sorted out very early on. Well, there's Dave Jessup. He made the all-important start and really never looked in any kind of trouble. Remarkable composure from this young man from Kent. Dave Jessup from England and Kings Lynn made the all-important start. The action was all behind him. It was Michael Lee who really made the bold move on the last lap under Peter Collins. It's a good start for Kings Lynn, 1 and 2 in heat number 3. Well, there we have the Speedway machine, pound for pound, just about the most powerful piece of piston-driven equipment in the world. 500cc, of course, with no brakes. The luck of the draw really has made the early heats vitally important in this 1980 World Championship final. We're moving on to Heat 5, and we have 3 heat winners coming in here, and Michael Lee, who had a fighting 2nd first time out. So, again, an all-important race. Let's have a look at the lineup, and we're going to see on the inside Billy Sanders. There's the rider in white, the only Swede in here, Jan Andersson. The outside there, it's Michael Lee from England. There is the lineup. So it's Sanders on the inside in the red helmet colour, a race winner, 3 points. Next to him, Bruce Pennell from the USA, 3 points. Jan Andersson, grid 3, a race winner, first time out. He's in white. And on the outside, there's Andersson. It's Michael Lee with a 2nd place. So all 4 of these riders still really must have their eyes on the 1980 World Speedway Championship crown. A crown worth around about £200,000 over the next year of racing, so it's well worth going for. Heat 5, something really has to give here. Inside Sanders, next to him Panel, grid 3 Anderson. On the outside Michael Lee. The inside grids look like being worth about a 5-yard start in the first heat, but Sanders made a nonsense of all that in his last ride coming from the outside. Let's see heat number 5. Oh, it's a tremendous start, and it's Panel who gets away up to the corner on the outside there. It is Michael Lee. Panel leads it. Lee goes around the outside. Anderson trying hard to get round Sanders into third place. Doesn't do so, and Michael Lee pushing hard on Bruce Panel there and almost coming to grief. Panel leads for America. Second place is Lee, battling hard. Third place is Billy Sanders, and at the back it is Jan Anderson. They really are going flat out around this 400-metre Ulavi stage. It's still a bit slick. This probably will improve and help the riders at the back later in the programme. At the moment it's Michael Lee who had to work hard to get under Peter Collins, and he's done it this time, and he's gone past Panel. Panel made a mistake there, and Lee spotted it and went through like a steam train and coming hard under Sanders. It is Anderson at the back, but Michael Lee there in absolutely rampant mood. Are England to get a world champion? We wonder, because Michael Lee was second first time out. Panel there is trying hard, but Lee has come from the back twice, and that looks tremendous. He wins heat number 5. Second place was Panel. Third was Sanders. And that is where a race that may well have sorted the men from the boys. Panel, always a sportsman, acknowledges that he made a mistake, and Michael Lee, to his undying credit, spotted it and was through as quick as lightning. And on those sort of moments, our World Championships won and lost. Well, here is that incident which really sorted out heat number 5. Bruce Panel seemed to be in command, just overcooked the corner slightly. Michael Lee, right on his back wheel, saw his opportunity, dived through the gap, and from then on, it was all over. Well, they've all done 2 starts. We thought it was going to be close at the top, and just look at this leaderboard. We have got 4 riders on 5 points, so winning the second place. Bruce Panel, Michael Lee, Finn Thompson, and Dave Jessup, and 2 riders on 4, breathing right down their neck. Billy Sanders, and the only previous champion in the field, Peter Collins. Finn Thompson, one of the 2 co-leaders. Heat 11 coming up, and we have 2 of the co-leaders here. Michael Lee there in blue, and Finn Thompson from Denmark in yellow and black. Grids 2 and 4 are the ones to watch for. The Czechoslovakians, well, Alice Drimmel on the inside in red. Ran us up first time out, but had a good win, surprise win in his last ride. He had 3 points. Petra Ondasek in whites from the Wolverhampton side of the British League has no score yet. Heat 11 then, Michael Lee has looked by far the sharpest and most competent at coming from the back. He's had to do it the hard way in 2 of his early rides to get points. Hasn't been gating that quickly. Finn Thompson had a second first time out, and then had a marvellous win in his second ride, really a little bit against the form book. So he's on 5 points. Here's Lee trying to settle down. Lee and Thompson almost certainly the riders to watch for, though if Alice Drimmel hops out from the inside, he could be a real spoiler here in heat number 11. Well, they are getting impatient. Oh, Michael Lee seemed to be moving there as the pace went up, but he's got away with it. And Thompson was left. And Thompson's back, way at the back, going around the outside of On Traffic. Michael Lee really anticipated that start quite beautifully. And referee Thor Kittleson is satisfied. And it's going to take an awful lot to stop Michael Lee now. Certainly in this race. And second behind his Kingsland teammate Dave Jessup early on. But Michael Lee, third in the world last year, only 21 still. His 4th world final. Looking might take the ultimate prize this time. Thompson's back in third place. Drimmel, as we rather suspected, once he gets going out of the gate, is an awkward customer to catch and bypass. Thompson has made no impression at all on him. Into the last lap, Michael Lee, cool and very calm, and surely will collect 3 more points. And England, well, having a fair old night to date. Got Lee up on the leaderboard, that'll take him into the lead overall. At this stage, he wins. Second place was Drimmel. Third place, Finn Thompson. Surely his chance is gone now. Flickered briefly. And last was Peter Ondrusek. What did happen at the start of heat number 11? You can see Michael Lee there is in the blue helmet in grid 2. He's impatient, and it did look as though he might just be moving when the tapes went up. A clear case of clever anticipation, perhaps. Heat 12 could be well worth watching, because we've got Billy Sanders and Dave Jessup, both of them still within touch of the title technically, and 2 good spoilers in Hans Nielsen and Chris Morton in blue and yellow respectively. The lineup for Heat 12, Billy Sanders on the inside has a win and a third, 4 points total. Hans Nielsen a second and a third, 3 points. Dave Jessup co-leader with 5 points, a win and a second, and Chris Morton on the outside, the Intercontinental champion, with a second and a third. So Heat 12, and anything could really give here. From the inside it is Sanders, and from the outside it is Jessup. And Sanders it is from Australia, though. Jessup, has he got the horsepower as they roar down the back straight together? There's absolutely no way you can separate them. Into the bottom corner, Jessup on the outside, Sanders on the inside, and the inside again proving the best line to take now. Jessup has switched inside. Can Sanders hold him back? This is a good race. This is real Speedway, and Billy Sanders holds off the challenge. First inside, first outside, then inside from Dave Jessup, and again Jessup trying the inside run on him, and coming into contention, and third place is Chris Morton. We really have got a Speedway race to savour. Now Morton has moved up on Dave Jessup, and he's not too far behind him. And in fact, if Jessup leaves more holes like that, I think Chris Morton might just pop past him. Sanders from Australia, and Ipswich leads it. His East Anglian compatriot Dave Jessup from Kingsland in second place. Chris Morton from Bellevue, Manchester. There's only about 10 lengths between the 3 of them. And, well, Sanders really ridden a very bold race here, and Dave Jessup trying desperately to make up that lost ground. Started co-favourite. He's already dropped 1 point. If he can do something extra special, he's going to drop another one. Sanders back in contention. He wins. Second place Jessup. Third place Chris Morton. Hans Nielsen at the back. His chance gone surely now in 1980. So after 3 rides, it's beginning to look good for Michael Lee from England and Kings Lynn. Clearly now with a 1 point advantage with 8 points. Then we have 3 riders jointly in second place. Billy Sanders from Australia, Dave Jessup and Peter Collins from England, and breathing right down there next we have Finn Thompson and Bruce Pennell on 6 apiece. The Bellevue contingent of this 35,000 crowd here at Julavy there, rising at the start of Heat 40 to try and inspire Peter Collins in the yellow and black helmet colour on the outside. There is the lineup. John Davis on the inside has 4 points. Billy Sanders from Australia has 7. The menace for Collins here. Alice Drimmel from Czechoslovakia, he's no slouch. He has 5 points from 3 starts. Peter Collins, third place first time out, then 2 cracking race wins. Heat 14, Collins and Sanders both still must have their eyes at least on a place in the first 3 as we stand by for Heat 14. There is Sanders, quick little starter from Australia. Davis on the inside could be a bit of a menace here too, because he can hop out when he's in the mood. And there's Peter Collins, not renowned as a starter, but can get out with the lads when it counts. We've seen him do that from the outside grid in an earlier ride. Davis on the inside, there's John Davis. Next to him Sanders, grid 3 Drimmel. On the outside Collins, heat number 14. Well, they've got to sit still, and away they go this time, and it is Davis from the inside, and Drimmel and Peter Collins around the outside, but John Davis leads it, and Collins trying to burst through between the pair of Saunders and Drimmel, and almost does so. There's 3 of them going tearing into that bottom corner. That was Speedway of the highest quality, and John Davis is in front. Collins is now in second place. In third place it is Sanders, and well, it's getting terribly tense and very close out there. Davis still leads. Collins has now been passed again on the inside by Sanders, and Peter Collins really has had having to fight with all his big, gritty North Country tenacity here. He's back in third place. Sanders is now moving up to threaten John Davis from the Reading Racers, and Davis moving out and then chopping back. And Sanders still now under the inside of him, trying to find the extra push, the extra ounce of power to go by. Colin Stanley seems to be out of contention now as we move into the last lap of heat number 14. And this may be the chance of Peter Collins gone as we watch Davis again straighten up down the back straight on his Don Godden built machine, the GR500, the only rider to be using one of these Kent-built bikes in this World Final. He's going to win it. Davis wins. Second place Sanders. Third place Collins. And again, that's a race that could have an important bearing on the final 1, 2, 3 in this 80 World Championship final. Heat 16, Michael Lee on the inside in the red helmet colour, and really if Mike the Bike from Kings Lynn just takes it steady, doesn't make any more mistakes, he could be the new world champion. He has 8 points, he's in the lead clearly. In this race he has Egon Muller in blue next to him, Hans Nielsen in white, and on the outside Yuri Stansfor in yellow and blank. Heat 16, Michael Lee, only just 22 years old, knows that he's now looking the sport's premier prize very much between the eyes. He had a second place first time out. He really has looked tremendous riding from the front and from the back here on this difficult surface. Difficult to come from the back here. Michael Lee has mastered it. Heat 16, he'll be looking for 3 points here. He's got the favourite inside grid, and he gets a tremendous start from the inside. In second place it is Muller, and around the outside it is Stansel, and moving through on the line Hans Nielsen. But Michael Lee is in front, and now really he's kicking for home. Behind him in second place Nielsen, in third place Muller, but there's nobody to touch Michael Lee. He really does look every inch as though he might be the 1980 World Speedway champion. Twice the British champion. Hasn't really had an effective build-up. Just did enough to qualify through in both the British, Commonwealth and Intercontinental Championship finals. It looks like he's put it together right and peaked at the right time, because he has looked superlative here in New Levy. And he's going into the last lap now. He seems to run into the groove there, straighten it up. Not very much of this boy. He's tall and lanky, not the classic shape and size for a Speedway rider, but when you're in front and leading the World Championship final, who's going to argue about shape and size? Over the line, 3 more points for Michael Lee, looking now well set. Second place was Nielsen, third was Yuri Stansel. We lost Egon Muller somewhere along the way. That's Michael Lee. Now then, with the Union Jacks beginning to fly high, looking well set. There's Lee. He now has a total of 11 points, and providing he makes no big hash of his last ride, he looks well set to become the new World Speedway champion, and he's only 22. The track, one senses beginning to just get a little bit of extra top surface as the meeting unfolds, a little bit more dirt there. Michael Lee, this surely is going to be the biggest race of his young career so far. What a meteoric career it's been. Came from nowhere when he was 16. Third in the world final last year. A win here will bring him the sport's supreme prize. His opponents know that they really have got a hold of Tiger here in Heat 18. There's Zenon Plek from Poland now. He was second last year, and Michael Lee was third. What a difference a year has made, because poor old Zen's only got 1 point, been really troubled by engine problems all evening. The crowd, a large British contingent, 10,000 or more. Are they going to rise to this boy here? Michael Lee. Everything really is in his favour. It's a comparatively easy last ride. The crowd really sense this could be the one to sort it all out. He's on the inside grid here, Mike Lee. He's got John Davis next to him, Chris Morton. He's got 2 English teammates really to look after him if he needs any looking after. We've got Zenon Plek on the outside, who's done nothing all night on a sick motor. So really, a tremendous chance from Michael Lee. Surely he'll wrap it up here. There's the lineup. The inside grid consistently has been the fastest, although one or two of the gating specialists have leapt out of grid 4. Lee will take his time settling down. Surely anything barring a disaster in these next 4 laps will make him the new World Speedway champion. Only 3 previous winners from England. Is Michael Lee going to bring the crown back to England for the 4th time since the World Speedway Championship started in 1936? Here's heat 18 and Lee on the inside. And it is Mac Davis who gets away. Lee only wants a 2nd place, of course, here. He's 2 points clear of the field. John Davis leads it. Lee is in 2nd place and 3rd place. It is Chris Morton and Flex at the back. So John Davis from Reading and England. Up front, Michael Lee only needs to hold on to 2nd place. That was a nervous-looking corner there at the bottom end. But this will do if they stay this way. He's sandwiched between 2 England colleagues. Davis in front and Morton in 3rd place. And it looks like they're settling down to that. Michael Lee will wish to do nothing foolhardy here. A 2nd place will be enough. He's right on John Davis's back wheel as they move into lap number 3. Davis moving out as Lee tries to come through on the inside, but pulling away again down the back straight. Davis has already thwarted the hopes of Peter Collins in an earlier ride. But this is just 1 lap to the world crown for Michael Lee. He's only going to sit back here in 2nd place. Davis obligingly again moves out and then comes back across him. But now Lee goes forward there. And here we have, ladies and gentlemen, the new World Speedway champion over the line, and just listen to the crowd. Michael Lee at 22 years of age. Michael Andrew Lee, of course, his father, well-known scrambler, Andy Lee, and they'll be out there now. The Bob from Kingsley and Andy Lee will be there. His mechanics, all his England teammates. The traditional greeting for a new World Speedway champion. Glory be, England have done it. We've been in the wilderness a little bit of time. Michael Lee has changed all that. Then at 22, who's to say he isn't going to go on and win a few more world crowns? Chris Morton in there, you can see, to congratulate him, absolutely mobbed. It looks like a boxing ring. Here's Peter Collins, there's Ollie Olsen there, a former world champion, 2 former champions, and Michael Lee joins them on Speedway's list of honour. He's written himself into Speedway history and folklore tonight. Michael Lee, new World Speedway champion from England and Kings Lynn, and there we can see him just going past John Davis on the last lap. Davis moves out, Lee is through the gap. Didn't really need to do it, but it's typical of this young man. He'll keep racing right to the last, down the back straight, and yes, he's got the extra power, moves through. Mind you, John Davis is all that concerned about it, because he knows that he's had to give best to the rider who is to be the new World Speedway champion. Michael Lee over the line, his arm goes up in salute, and England have the champ.
Yes, Michael Lee, champion of the world. Runner-up was another Englishman, Dave Jessup, who finished with the same number of points as Australian Billy Sanders, but in the run-off to decide 2nd place, Jessup was a very easy winner. So it's...
Michael Lee, 1980 world champion. It sounds good. How does it sound to you?
Oh, it's just unreal, you know. It hasn't sunk in yet, I'll tell you. You know, I just don't know what to say.
Now, the first ride, Mike, really was the tough one. It may have felt that you'd blown it there because you were 2nd. You had to work hard for that 2nd place. What were your feelings then?
Yeah, well, you know, we looked through the programme and it was really my hardest race of the day, and I had the worst gate. So I was happy to get the 2 points. I had to fight to get past Peter Collins on the last bend, and just picked up the 2 points. And you know, when you can pick up 2 points in your hardest race, then things are going all right.
Tell us about the track. It seemed to be a little bit of a gator's paradise,
Yeah.
but you were the only man who really was consistently coming through from behind.
Yeah, well, I'm not a strong gator, so I have to come from the back, and luckily I did it tonight.
A lot of people to thank, I know. Obviously, your dad, Andy Lee, this must be a big moment for him, Mike.
Yeah, you know, he's so pleased. I think he's like me, he just can't get the words out. But there's so many people that have helped me along the way, and that, you know, I can't name them, but everyone that's helped, thanks, you know.
Now, what about the future? What is the plans?
Well, I couldn't tell you that. I've got to sit down and think about it, but obviously, you know, I've got to have a good think.
Now, I mean, this title, they reckon, is worth about £250,000 in the next 12 months. You're 22 years old. I mean, you might be a Speedway millionaire. How does that sound?
Well, you know, anything's possible, but the money doesn't really come into it. If I could go on earning like I was and be world champion, I'd be happy. You know, the money's not sort of the main factor of it.
Michael Lee, World Speedway Champion, 1980. Our final congratulations.